Alright, so I am cleaning up these Hungarian shovels this morning because I have a few minutes, and I've done about 10 of them so far. I might do another 5 or 10 more, but whenever you get them, this is what they look like whenever they arrive overseas. So dirty. This is actually a fairly clean one. Some of them are really fucking filthy, but if you guys want to do this at home, it's really not that hard of a process. I just have an assembly line set up that I can get this knocked out real quick. At the base level, you need some rough sandpaper, some fine sandpaper, a screwdriver. That's literally all that you need at the very bare minimum. Obviously, I have an assembly line set up that allows me to get this done very quick and easy. I know someone's going to come in, well, yeah, it's easy to do it whenever you have a bunch of fucking tools. Yeah, if you want to have a business and get out of your fucking warehouse job, you're going to have to make an investment in yourself. I don't know what else to tell you. But at the very bare minimum, $10 worth of sandpaper and a screwdriver. Anybody can do that, right? So on these, there is a screw. I don't know if you can see that there. Normally, it's full of grime and all that stuff. I just take the pointed screwdriver, clean that out so that I can access the screw. But before I go and take this off, I'm going to take a wire wheel with a soft wheel on it, and I'm going to clean up the head. See how that's taking off all that grime real quick, real easy? It's not really damaging the coat underneath it, it's just getting the grime off. Now you could do that with a wire brush, you know, but angle grinder makes it that much faster. So now that I got the head cleaned up, I'm going to pop this off of here, and you got to get that grime out so that you can get a decent grip on that screw. But and more than likely, these screws haven't been taken out of these in like fucking 50 years. So they're normally a little stiff coming out. But once they do come out, you can take your head and give it a little bit of wiggling back and forth. This one's a little stiffer than the other one. So the simplest thing to do, get yourself some sort of wood. And we're going to hit it on the edges of the flange very lightly just to pop it off. And pops right off, right? So now we got our head. We're going to lay that off to the side with the screw. And then this is the wood. And I am going to use a power sander or a belt sander to remove this very quickly. But if you're doing it by hand, you're going to start with 60 grit. You're just going to start cleaning it off like that. And once you're done with the 60 grit, getting all the coarse job done, going to go over it with 100. But instead of using the 60 grit handheld, I'm going to go over to the machine and do it in a couple seconds. So roughed out, that looks like that. And I know you guys see a lot of these dings and dents in there. I try to leave some of those on because whenever we're finished, it gives it a little bit more of a battle look to it, like it's seen some use. You know, I don't want it looking like a brand new shovel. If I want that, I'll go buy a cold steel or something like that, you know, fresh out the gate. I still want to preserve a little bit of the history of the handle, right? On the socket, it's portion of the handle itself, I don't go too heavy on this because if I make this much thinner, it'll become loose in the head. I don't want to do that. I do touch on this portion here just to clean it up because that's the portion that is visible on the back side of the shovel. So I did the rough coarse part of it. I'm going to take 100 grit paper and I'm going to do it by hand. Just clean up, you know, any extra roughness, just smooth out. And this does not take long at all. Maybe one pass there. You're going to kind of have to get a feel for it. It's very easy to take too much off using a machine. It's much more precise to do it by hand. And we're just smoothing up the handle a little bit. Get the end of it right there. And then we're going to end up with something like that. You know, we got most of it smoothed off. Get a little bit more up there. And I'll come back with a rag and just wipe off the excess dust. This is ready to go back onto the shovel itself. Line it up with the hole. Come back with the screw. We're going to tighten that back in. Now you could sand it without ever removing it from the shovel. If you hit the shovel on the power sander, it's going to shine the metal, you know, because you're hitting the metal and exposing fresh. I don't want to do that, so I take it off all the time. And I can do about, without stopping to talk to you guys, I can do 4 or 5 of these an hour or in a half an hour or so. It doesn't take long. I use linseed oil, boiled linseed oil for finish. You can use all sorts of different kinds of finishes that you want. But you're going to get a rag. And you're going to start wetting the rag with linseed. And just start rubbing that on. All of the exposed wood gets it. And you should probably come back, you know, in 24 hours or so and do a second coat, because your first coat is going to soak into the wood and then your second coat is going to act as a final outside sealer, and this does do a good job of protecting your tool handles. That's the reason why it's been so popular over the last fucking century or so with anybody that uses tools, you know, axes, hammers, and shovels, any sort of wood handled implement. If you take care of it, it lasts a long time, right? So just like that, that's pretty much the entire gist of how to clean up and put new life into your shovel. I will, after this handle dries a little bit, you know, wipe off the excess, make sure it's not dripping or anything. I will go back on the sander with a metal belt and I will touch the edges just to sharpen it, but that's literally 1 pass, 2 pass, and then over the top, and you're done. So that's how you clean up a Hungarian shovel. If you want to pick up these either in their original state or cleaned by me, you can find those at PaxtonCreekSupply.com. Enjoy.